If you have access to a yard, get your soil tested, and if it tests fine, you can plant in your yard. If you don't have a yard, another option is community gardens, and I am a coordinator for one of the community gardens here in Somerville. We have 8 altogether, and people sign up, they call City Hall, and they say that they have an interest, and we try and match people to the garden that's closest to their home. You get just a 10 by 10 foot plot, and it may sound small, but you can actually produce a great deal of food in one plot. It actually can support just the vegetables for a family for the summer, a family of 4 people, if you are very industrious in your gardening. So I think those are 3 easy ways for most people in the city to get involved with gardening and creating their own food in a healthy way.
You invest in our farm. It's called Community Supported Agriculture. And there are several other farms around that have the same program. 2 farmers come all the way down from Vermont with their produce. And they come every week, and you pay up front, which is very good for the farmer, supports local agriculture, because you're paying money to the farmer when he most needs it, to buy his seeds, his supplements, his everything. And then you get usually there's a delivery site where you go to, and you get essentially a bag of produce every week for 20 weeks, going from June all the way to the end of October. A lot of people think that farming ends in September, but that's not true. And last year our farm was still purveying vegetables into November, because it was kind of a mild fall. Mm-hmm. So that's an excellent way to direct farmer-consumer model.
Mm-hmm. The market basket was the lowest price. Statistically, it's not a really strong conclusion, but just for what our numbers showed, the market basket was the lowest. They're tied with the star markets for staple foods, but decidedly were cheaper across the board for meats and vegetables. But then which one wins, it's a complicated question. Other factors, of course, come into play. We've only been talking about prices, right? And we also have to consider location is key. Mm-hmm. And then there's also ambiance. And then I've also heard issues about regarding market basket, about spoilage, quick spoilage and freshness issues. And then there's also some people have a heavy consideration towards moralistic issues. Do they want to support organic? Do they principally believe in that? And smaller farmers, and do they have a problem supporting large impersonal stores?
We're going to get a lot more into some of those discussions.
The answer is very hard to answer. The question's very hard to answer, and that's a big conclusion we got from this whole study, is that it's very complicated. We argued about a lot of the facts.
We did.
Yes, yeah, and we did. So, and then the other part that determines what store is best comes down to the individual, what their diet is. Are they a meat eater, a vegetarian, or staples? If they're a staple eater, then it doesn't matter as much. If they're a meat eater, then there's a lot of value to investigating. There also, you also have, this is just a study where we pick 40 goods and we set our weightings to them. An individual needs to consider their own unique needs, and that could really change the results of the study.
Okay.
And the last thing I'd like to add is that I think consumers should need to recognize that things change. Not just, okay, this store's been great, I've been there for 10 years, but that organic food's getting cheaper, and there are new stores popping up, organic food stores all around. Fastest growing component of grocery expansion has been organic food over the last 9 years.
There.
Yeah.
The lower the prices will become.
And the economies of scale are driving those prices down, so the margin's closing. And if you support those things, you can help expedite that process. So not only watch for change, but participate in it if it's important to you.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
So we'll go to a tape and then we'll come back with another guest.
I am wild about all kinds of berries, black and blue and raz and straw and red. But most of all, I like to guzzle cherries. Me too. And I eat them every night in bed. I like to eat, I like to eat, I like to eat, I like to eat, and no matter what it is, I like to eat. I can sing the praises of pistachios, and I eat them till I almost bust. And I also like pecans and cashews. Yes, indeedy, I sure love my nuts.
I also wanted to know what products are important to buy organically and what products are less important, because if you only have X amount of money for your bill, your food bill, it would be great to know if these particular veggies and fruits are really high in pesticides or on the lower side. I was trying to find some information about why these products are more susceptible. But for example, I'm not sure if the website is accessible, if anyone out there in the studio can find the website. It's a bit lower down on the list. But basically, this website is where I got the following information about the 10 most contaminated fruits and vegetables, and I'll just list them. I think we have a CG online right now. But anyway, we have the 10 most contaminated fruits and vegetables are strawberries, bell peppers, spinach, cherries, peaches, cantaloupe, celery, apples, apricots, green beans, grapes, and cucumbers. Now, why these are the most contaminated I won't get into, but you can find this stuff on the website, which I find kind of interesting. They also give you examples of what nutritional parallel options there are to each of these fruits and veggies. And then they give you a list of the 10 least contaminated, which I found very interesting. These are the 10 least contaminated fruits and vegetables: avocados, corn, onions, sweet potatoes, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, grapes, US, the other grapes I think were Chile, bananas, plums, green onions, watermelon, and broccoli. So they also, in that same website, have they tell you what the methodology in ranking the produce for pesticide risk. So there's a lot of information out there. So if you want to, help educate your decision in terms of what you buy where, that's an important factor.